the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome. Good to see you all here tonight. We need to start with a roll call. Ms. Cox, you're filling in for Ms. Harris tonight. Will you help us with that roll call?
I sure will. So all are present and you have a quorum tonight.
Thank you. We have an agenda before us. Are there any changes to that agenda we need to consider before we move forward?
I make a motion we approve the agenda, Your Honor.
Mr. Welling with a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Sellers seconding. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? We have an agenda. We have the council minutes for October 21st and the work session minutes for October 28th. Any concern regarding those minutes? If not, we will acknowledge those as they've been written, and we will move on to the bills. We've got a warrant register with today's date on it before you, your computers. Questions, comments, concerns? Is there a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
I'll second it.
Mr. Perks, the motion. Mr. Welling, seconding. Any discussion?
It's a pretty good number, actually.
I just have one question here.
Sure, go ahead, sir.
On the Staker Parsons bill, is this final bill? Is that completed? I wasn't sure.
Damon, can you help us?
Okay, thank you. And then one other question, Your Honor.
Please.
On the Wyoming State Treasurer, the refund, what is the refund for?
What happened there is when we received our federal mineral royalties tax, it was very low, and I called them, and they sent our portion to Lyman, and Lyman, we received Lyman's. So we had to refund that back, and as of yesterday, we had received our portion, which was more like $160,000.
Okay, thank you.
Good catch.
Yeah, no kidding. Any other further discussion? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Bills are approved. We have a revenue and expenditure report for August. Same thing there. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve that report?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Mr. Welling with a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Your Honor.
Mr. Schmidt seconding. Discussion.
I just have one question on that also.
Please, go ahead. That's excellent.
On the fund summary, we show 19%. Is that where we're at for the year?
As of the end of August, it should be, yes.
For the end of August. Okay, so I was just curious on the
19% is the revenue.
I'm sorry?
That's the revenue portion?
Yeah, that's the revenues, 19%, is that correct? And then on the expenditures, what is, do you know what the percentage is on the expenditures in relation to the 19%?
The general fund expenditures is 11.6.
11 points. Oh, I missed that. Thank you.
The other funds are a little different.
I see it now, thank you, I missed that. That's all, Your Honor, thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Any further discussion? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Report is approved. Council comments. Ms. Hegeman, let's start with you tonight. What's on your mind?
I actually have something to say tonight. And this is to my constituents, and for the record, I will be abstaining from voting on 2 of the resolutions and financial items on tonight's agenda that did not come with complete financial documentation providing a clear outlay of your money. This isn't about internal process. It's about the public's right to know where their money goes before it's spent. I requested full line item fiscal data by 2 p.m. today. I appreciate the effort to provide summary information. However, what was delivered is descriptive narrative, not fiscal verification. Under WS 15.1.103 AII and 15.2.204, this body cannot lawfully act on expenditures without full fund, encumbrance, and authorization detail. These summaries do not meet the test, and therefore I will abstain. These statutes define not just a process, but a duty, one that every member of this council is sworn to uphold. Each of us is legally obligated to verify the lawful use of public funds before casting a vote. That isn't a technicality. It is the job you elected us to do. Fiscal oversight is the first, most basic duty of an elected council member. If we can't account for the people's money, we are not representing them, we are failing them. Approving expenditures without full line item documentation is not oversight. It's a violation of both fiscal law and public trust. It is voting blind, and it fails the very people we were elected to represent. Line item fiscal detail before a vote is not a courtesy. It is the legal condition of a valid appropriation. Any governing body that approves spending without its acting outside the bounds of statutory fiscal control. I take seriously my obligation to safeguard public funds. I will not cast a vote on any expenditure that cannot be verified to the penny by fund and by authorization. The people who pay these bills deserve lawful, transparent governance and a clear accounting of where every dollar goes. That isn't just the standard for this city, it is the law, and I intend to uphold it, whether I stand alone or not.
Mr. Sellers.
Let me move my computer so you guys can hear me. Foremost, I want to thank the City Public Works. Again, they responded quickly when I had luckily it wasn't me who broke the water line, but I got the repercussions of 4 flooded apartments. But I appreciated them getting there and getting the water turned off for me quickly. Second off, I'd like to thank everybody who's voted today and in this election. I think it's our right, and we should do that. Thirdly, and it's a hard thanks because it's been a tough week because I'm out in the public a lot. I've had a lot of people contact me and lots of questions and lots of concerns, and I appreciate those concerns. And I wasn't really going to say a lot, but based on the number of people who want to hear from us and ask to hear from us, I put a little statement together I'd like to read. So to all of my constituents on the City Council, the residents of and citizens of Evanston, I draw on this information through my career as an executive and working with the public for many, many years. Throughout my career, I've always understood the critical importance of considering the impact of wage increases across the board. Maintaining moral and ensuring fairness for all employees is just not good practice. It is essential for the well-being and cohesiveness of the entire organization. When the City Council commissioned a wage study, it was clear the focus and the goal addressing the urgent need to retain and fairly compensate our police officers, who are vital to the safety and security of our community. We were told this study would guide equitable increases designed to keep our officers from leaving to neighboring cities. It is deeply concerning that while our officers received modest increases, the top 4 appointed officials were granted raises between 14 and 23%, far exceeding what was granted to those risking their lives to protect us. If the total additional compensation given to these top officials had been instead distributed among the police officers, it would have amounted to roughly $2,000 a year per police officer, or approximately $1 an hour. This increase would significantly help offset the financial strain officers face in today's economy. The impact of inflation and our struggling economy cannot be overstated. With the rising costs of living, especially for necessities like housing, fuel, and food, wages that do not keep pace effectively diminish purchasing power. This erodes the standard of living for many of our community, including our police officers, who are often shoulder with both the stress of their duties and financial challenges. In such an environment, fair compensation is just not about retention. It is about respecting and sustaining those who protect us. Such disparity raises serious questions regarding fairness, transparency, and the accountability of those entrusted with leadership and influencing over pay decisions. Those in appointed leadership positions have heightened responsibilities to lead with integrity, ensure equitable treatment for all employees, and upholding the trust placed in them by our council and our community. On a personal note, I want you to know that I take responsibility for not being more diligent in following up. I should have asked for a line by line. I should have looked at that. Just like Ms. Hagman said, we need that accountability. We need, as a council, need to look at everything line by line. If I would have saw a 24% raise, if I would have saw $20,000 raises, I would have questioned. Not that I would have wanted to take it away from the police officers at that time or other deserving employees at their 4% or 5% raise. I would have wanted to make sure that we were looking at things logically. There's a lot of people who have come to me and say, I cannot even afford groceries, and you're giving somebody a $20,000 a year raise? And I take that responsibility. Let me go back to where I was at. I take responsibility for not being more diligent in following up and fully understanding the impact of this or any other resolution that I haven't fully been able to read because we haven't had them. While I'm disappointed by how the wage increase was pushed through, I'm equally disappointed that I trusted the city administration and did not exercise greater due diligence in this matter. I've worked with the city for many, many years and have gone off the summary, planning and zoning, and went off the recommendations so many times without digging into things probably as much as I should. I respectfully urge the council to conduct an investigation and with full transparency to review the decisions and how it was considered, including emails and back and forth to the company that did it, to make sure that there wasn't pressure to adjust wages for people that had the most control. Our community deserves a government that acts responsibly with taxpayer funds and values all its employees equitably. I believe the principles I've lived by in my professional career, consideration for the good of all, and fairness and compensation should guide our city's decisions as well. Thank you.
Mr. Welling?
I didn't have anybody write me a script, so I'll forego comments till our next meeting.
Perks.
Yeah, I'm going to vote on all 4 resolutions tonight. I've done my research. I've been around long enough that I understand these figures, and I applaud Jen if she's not voting for them for not totally understanding them. I don't blame her, but I do understand them. I'll be voting on all 4. And I stand by my vote when it came to the raises. You know, these people work hard. They put up with a lot of crap from the public on whether they do their job right or not, and I believe they do it very well. And the first thing I believe is you just take and get rid of the names on a payroll study. And we want to make sure that we're right there with our competitors, which is other communities in this surrounding area. And I did look through that. It took me most of one day to go through it all, a half a day. But I stand by my vote. I applaud the department heads and all the employees. So that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Lynn?
First, I wanted to say thank the downtown for the trick-or-treaters. I love that we all get to go do that. And yeah, the turnout this year was pretty spectacular. So thank all those businesses that open their doors and the ones that come downtown that aren't even downtown. I want to thank those businesses for doing that for the kids. I'm not going to be long-winded, but I have to stand by my vote because I was a part of it. I had the opportunity to do the due diligence, and whether I did or didn't, I still have to stand behind my vote. And I still think we could do some better communicating throughout the city. I think work sessions are not utilized enough and utilized the way they should be to discuss a lot of these things. So I'm not going to say I screwed up by any means, because I think our vote was to reward these employees and reward our department heads. But I also believe we can do a better job of communicating so that we all know where we're at and we all stand on the same page. So that's what I'd like to say.
Mr. Schmidt?
I'd like to give you a lot for the That's spectacular. That's an amazing thing our city does, for sure.
Mr. Schmidt?
I'd just like to remind everybody that next Tuesday is Veterans Day. So if you know a veteran or have a veteran in your family, I'd encourage you to thank them for their service and for the sacrifices that they made. Also like to thank you for voting today. If you were out to vote, it means a lot for everyone to get out and vote so we know what our folks want in our community, whether they're for it or against it. We need to, it's our responsibility to get out and vote. On the other issue that we're talking about right now, I agree with everyone, basically, on what took place. I think our employees deserve what they've received, and I have to stand by what I voted for. But I also understand Councilman Sellers, and I believe that I can do a better job in being able to account for our expenditures and do my due diligence. But I will stand behind what I've done, right or wrong, and I do believe that our employees, especially our police officers, deserve what they get or more. Thank you.
Thank you. I also have prepared a statement in preparation for this meeting that I'd also like to read. And it is in relation to the article that's been mentioned in the Uinta County Herald and some comments made by council members relative to regarding the pay increases resulting from a salary study conducted in the fall of 2024 by Condrey and Associates. For some context for you, the city first commissioned this same firm to conduct a study in 2018. It took 6 months to complete and was the first such study conducted in many years. That 2018 study included total revision to job descriptions and compensation. In October of 2018, the council, after deliberation and consideration, adopted the recommendations of the plan and implemented the plan mid-fiscal year. This decision was made unanimously by the council, including Councilman Sellers, who served on the council at the time. For several years prior to the 2018 study, the city had lost staff for a variety of reasons. Recruitment from outside organizations, non-competitive salaries, difficult working conditions, and so on. We saw this to a large degree with our police department in particular. The cost associated with sufficiently training and equipping our police officers exceeds $80,000 per officer. What we saw is the city would invest in new officers, train and equip them, only to have them lured away for more competitive employment. The entire council was fully aware, or at least should have been aware, of the study commissioned by the council in the fall of 2024. All should have been aware that the results would be implemented upon approval of the council. The commission of the plan and the implementation of it were unanimously approved by the council. To suggest that anyone has kept anyone in the dark or withheld any information regarding the effort is simply untrue. Had any member of the council, or anyone else for that matter, had questions or concerns regarding the matter, they could have and perhaps should have asked questions, asked for further discussions, or asked for the matter to be tabled for further investigations. A study of this type does not take into consideration a particular employee, but the position itself. To do otherwise would undermine the validity and the integrity of the study. The controversy brought on by this recent article serves no purpose other than to stir up misconceptions and misinformation. If one thinks there is some dark secret to expose, they are mistaken. Every decision placed before this council is accompanied by a variety of supporting and clarifying information. If a council member wishes for greater or further investigations regarding any decisions, there are ways to provide for such. With regard to this recent article and the decisions made relative to it, one need only search the associated resolutions to find out how each council member quoted in the article voted on the subject. I take great pride in the city of Evanston, both as a long-term resident and particularly as mayor. I am very proud of the group of dedicated employees who serve this community in many ways that go unnoticed and underappreciated. Each one, at the very least, is a well-trained, well-equipped, and well-supported member of our city team. Among them are also highly seasoned, experienced people who know their job and do it well. They are all experienced. Many are certified and credentialed individuals. Some hold positions that require degrees or licensure. Each one is a valued and valuable member of the city team, and the reality that we can attract and retain such a team should be a source of community pride rather than spin and controversy. It is worthy of note that the recent article and the spin associated with it is based on a decision that was made by this council many months ago. The information regarding the salary study, the 2024-25 budget, and city salary information has been available all along for anyone to see. Public employees are entrusted with responsibilities that affect public safety and community well-being. Each is required to meet the highest standards of integrity, professionalism, and accountability unique to public service. Competitive pay is not simply a matter of fairness, it is a matter of effectiveness and sustainability. There is more that probably could and maybe should be said, but I'll suffice it for that, to that for now. And we will move on. We have no public hearings or special orders. We have no consent agenda. We have no unfinished business. Our first item of new business is Resolution 2568. Mr. Harris, will you read that title for us, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2568 is a resolution of the City of Evanston, Wyoming, authorizing an application to the United States Department of Justice, to obtain a bulletproof vest partnership grant for purchase of bulletproof vests for Evanston Police Department officers.
Thank you, sir. Chief.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the council. Is this working better?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir. So this grant is received through the Department of Justice. We've received it for as many years as I've been at the police department. What it effectively does is it reimburses the city of Evanston half the cost of each vest. Our vests expire in 5 years, and we're required to replace them. And those funds, we expend those funds out. The Department of Justice replaces that money back in. Obviously, all of it's taxpayer money, but it's federal money that comes back to the city.
Excellent. Do we do this on a nearly yearly basis?
Annual basis, Your Honor.
Is there an introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce it. Go ahead.
I'll introduce, Your Honor.
Is there a motion to pass in there with
Motion to pass.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes, sir.
I'll go ahead and second it, Your Honor.
Perks seconding. Mr. Schmidt made the motion, Mr. Perks seconding. Any discussion?
I have one question, Chief. You may or may not be able to answer it, but the small local match for the vests, what source is that, what match source is that coming from?
Your Honor, Councilmember, 1 second, please. Please. Okay. I'm getting the age when I have two voices going on. It's hard for me to focus on one conversation. I apologize. It comes out of our general line item, and we have the money, I believe it's under grants. Once that money is expended, then we go to uniform line item to subsidize whatever shortfalls we have. We only purchase vests for new officers because they're fitted, or replace damaged vests, including when we have officers have massive weight changes either direction and the vest no longer fits them. That's considered damage in a way. And basically that's where all of our expenditures come from.
Perfect, thank you.
Your Honor.
Thank you. Please.
Chief Ranish, what's the life expectancy of a vest now?
Yes, Your Honor, Councilmember Welling, it is 5 years the expiration date.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That is approved. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Resolution 2569. Mr. Harris, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2569 is a resolution of the City of Evanston, Wyoming, authorizing the submission of a grant request by the Historic Preservation Commission for the City of Evanston to the Wyoming Department of State Parks and Cultural Resources State Historic Preservation Office, SHPO, for the design and printing of historic downtown walking tour brochures.
Thank you, sir. Nika.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. So each year, this is pretty straightforward. Each year, the State Historic Preservation Office sets aside grant funding for certified local governments for eligible activities, including public education, for projects such as brochures, websites, videos, etc. To qualify for grant funding, CLGs must be in good standing with an improved annual report from the previous fiscal year. Evanston is currently in compliance. Evanston's Historic Preservation Commission proposes to design and print 3,000 new historic downtown walking tour brochures. Similar brochures were last printed in 2014, and subsequently there are a few remaining. In addition, historic sites and structures have changed in the past decade and require updated information. These new walking tour brochures will provide a vast wealth of knowledge regarding many of the city's most prominent downtown buildings and sites. Once designed and printed, the brochures will be distributed at various public and private locations, including but not limited to City Hall, the Chamber of Commerce, the Uintah County Museum, Bear River State Park, the Roundhouse and Rail Yards, hotels and restaurants. Additionally, a digital version will be available on several public websites. So the Historic Preservation Commission, CLG, is requesting a total amount of $3,720 from SHPO. There is a 40% match requirement, which will be $2,480, and the total estimated project cost is $6,200. The deadline for the application is November 15th, and the grants must be completed by August 31st of 2027. We hope to be done much sooner than that, and hopefully done next spring of 2026. The grant award announcement should be in December or January of this year. It's a pretty quick turnaround.
You already answered the question that I had. I was asked this morning when their last printing occurred, and I couldn't think off the top of my head when it was, but I knew it was several years back. 2014, is that what you
Yes,
said?
yes.
How many did they print? How many did they print in 2014?
Around 5,000, I believe. Mhm.
So we don't use a lot.
No.
So this should last us about 8 years if I do my math in my
Yeah,
head.
about right.
So do we distribute these just around town, or do we try and get outside of town to distribute these at all?
I mean, we certainly can, but mostly they go in town for visitors, tourists.
Okay.
Is there introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce with a motion pass.
Mr. Sellers with the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Welling seconding. Discussion.
Thanks for all your work on our grants.
Oh,
I, for one, really appreciate it.
thank you.
Speaking of valued employees, Mika does a great job with the grants. Thank goodness.
Yes, she does.
Thank you very much.
If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That is approved. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for your support.
Resolution 2570. Mr. Harris, read that title for us, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2570 is a resolution of the governing body of the City of Evanston approving change order number 2 for the Evanston Transmission Pipeline 2022 project.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Even though the term is change order, really this is a zeroing of the project, of the unit bid prices for overruns and underruns. Ultimately, with the project complete, we came in $169,345.82 under. Given the magnitude of that project, I think that's fantastic. And so ultimately what this is doing is just zeroing out the quantities and showing a deduct for what was originally bid.
These are the kind of change orders we love to have, and I don't know, I'm trying to think if we ever had a savings that large before. I can't think. I know that there's been a few, but this is a quite large savings to us. I think this is incredible.
Yeah, you know, when you put a project together, you try and plan for the worst, and in this case, you know, some of those underruns really helped us back. It's our intent to get the most out of what we can, and in this case, I think we did. So,
excellent. Thank you. Is there introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce the motion to pass, Your Honor.
I'll second it, Your Honor.
Schmidt seconding. Any discussion?
Just have one quick question on the savings. What was the majority of that? It's a large savings. I was just curious what.
a lot of it was some of the import material that, not knowing what we'd face when we dug out the material and put the new pipe in, whether that would be salvageable or not to put back. That was a big chunk. Some other ones, yeah, pretty much imported fill, a little less crushed base. All of that combined together with the overruns, you know, comes out as a negative.
So, go ahead.
Does that answer your question, sir?
So my question is, $170,000, are we going to reappropriate that somewhere else for another project, or
when the budget was requested for this year, again, not knowing what we faced, we budgeted 3.3. These are water enterprise funds, so
it'll just go back into enterprise.
Go back into
correct
enterprise fund,
and
that makes a lot of sense.
With the caveat, if you, for those who were here, would remember of the amount that this project cost, the Wyoming Water Development Office reimburses us, in essence, $1.475 million when it's all said and done.
And this one's, we're done with this, right?
There's always more to do. But no, it is complete. Water's flowing through the line.
But I mean, as far as tearing streets up and stuff like that, we're
for this job.
We're good with this job. This particular job, we're done, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And it's nice to have a place with a new water line, so hopefully we don't have the problems we're having with some of the old water lines in town.
Again, this is the transmission line component. But no, as far as what it's intended to do, get water from the E-Hill to the Twin Ridge tank, we've accomplished that.
You're not just buttering us up for the next project you're going to put in front of us, are you?
Could be.
No.
No, that's good. Thank you for that.
There's no further discussion on this particular resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed?
I'll abstain.
Okay. Thank you.
Need a detailed line ledger.
Resolution 2571. Mr. Harris, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2571 is a resolution of the City of Evanston, Wyoming, authorizing the execution of a fiscal year 2026 Transportation Alternatives Program subrecipient agreement between the Wyoming Department of Transportation, Local Government Coordination Office, and the City of Evanston for the Evanston Pedestrian Sidewalk Improvement Project.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Newsom.
So back in June, you might remember, I came in front of you guys to ask for the opportunity to supply an application to WYDOT for TAP grant funding of this Aspen sidewalk. Through their decisions and whatnot, they came back and are offering us $60,000 for design of sidewalks up to the rec center from 150. Of that $60,000, about 90% is federal funds, and the 9.51% is a local match, which is a standard TAP agreement. And so in an effort to solidify this and start the design, we're hoping that this gets approved.
Absolutely. Seems like a good program. Is there an introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce with a motion to pass.
Sellers?
To my area.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, Your Honor.
Seconding. Any discussion?
Damon, sorry, the local match, what is that funding source? Where is that coming from?
Being tied to sidewalk and roads, it would most likely come from the general fund.
And do we have an amount?
Yes, under the budget session, we, and this is when the money was asked, we appropriated $775,000, assuming that we would get a federal match for $689. The caveat with that is when that was requested, I later found out that WYDOT now doesn't do design and construction, so now we're just doing the construction component. But ultimately, in the budget, there was money set aside for this project as a whole.
And I got that part, but do we have a total? Not yet.
A total for what?
The match for...
Like I say, ultimately, we've already budgeted $86,000 to come from the city within last year's budget approval.
So it's 86 out of that. Okay, that's what...
But we're only needing 6 for this current design component.
Excellent, thank you.
And this is going from 150 up to the rec center. Which way is that going up?
Basically from 150 up South Ridge.
Okay, that's by Aspen?
By Aspen,
Okay,
yes.
so up that way, that's where
And
you're
then
talking
it transitions into Saddle Ridge with the goal to hit the rec center. The tentative plan, if you will, is we'll still stub down a little bit down Broken Circle to try and connect the dots where sidewalk's not in that little segment there coming out of the school.
Attachment C in your packet.
So teachers at Aspen and people who live in that area, they take their kids from Aspen over to the rec center, and the walking is very treacherous at times. And I've been approached by people at the school, as in my areas, my constituents, about this and about their concerns with the safety. So I'm excited that it's moving forward. And so, and there's going to be a lot of people in that area that are excited that it's moving forward.
For sure. You know, I too live in that vicinity and see people walking in the roads all the time. That's really what born this idea, to see if we can actually put sidewalk where it should be.
Anything further? If there's not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed?
I'll abstain. Lacks documentation, encumbrance funds authorizing authority.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Comments from departments? Trudy, you want to? Come on. Ms. Lim, I'm sorry, I should be more formal.
That's fine.
Ms. Lim, please.
Mayor and City Council members, first I'd like to thank you for your support for the salary study and for the overall support for all the city employees. They all worked very hard. I also want to point out that anyone is welcome to come into my office at any time, ask questions about projects, about financial issues, and many of you have done that in the past. And department heads are also, I'm sure, I'm speaking for them, but I'm sure they'll welcome you as well. Additionally, I just want you all to know that this week, or the next 2 days, my staff is participating in a conference with Cassell, and they're actually coming here, and a lot of the surrounding communities will be attending that as well. So,
nice.
And that's it.
Thank you. Mr. O'Neill.
Thank you, Mayor, for the words and the support. I know the staff appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Newsom, you have anything more for us tonight, sir?
I'd like to echo those statements. Thank you for your comments.
Mr. Robinson. Chief Ranish.
Yes, sir, I have the same to say, and I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Cox, I would include you in this. Do you have anything on
Yes,
behalf of Ms.
agree.
Harris?
I agree with what they said. I shouldn't be speaking for them, but yes.
Sounds good. Mr. Harris.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and for your support and recitation of the history of the salary study. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Public participation. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to address the council for any reason? Please.
Kathy Cook, 912 Main. I have just a couple questions. I know voting's probably winding down by now, but one of my questions was about separating that 1% tax on the ballot instead of putting them all together. I think I've heard a lot of people say, well, I would have voted yes on this and that, but because it was all lump sum together, then I'm voting no. So I was just wondering why you didn't put it separate.
I don't know if I can answer that question. That was a cumulative, and somebody can maybe help me. That was a cumulative decision made by several, not only the city, but as far as the county and the towns of Bear River, Lyman, Mountain View. That was the decision to make. And the point is well taken. I recognize that there are going to be some with concerns relative to what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I understand that. Don't necessarily even disagree to a large measure. But I don't know if I can answer that completely. Other than it was a decision. I'm sorry, Ms. Larson back here, I didn't see you. When we get done, I'll ask you if you have any comments. But that was and maybe, as I noticed Ms. Larson back here, maybe she can help us answer that question as well. So when she's there, when you're done, I'll have her help us. I didn't see you. I apologize.
Thank you. Another one, I agree with Jesse on the work sessions aren't utilized. I don't think they could, I don't know. You could talk about more things. Maybe a suggestion would be at the end of the work session is to ask if anyone has anything they need to say or work on in the future or the next meeting. Just because a lot of times we are not having our work meetings, or there's only one thing on there, and if you're not on the agenda, you can't say anything. So just maybe make it a little more open and say, does anybody else have any, concerns about our future or anything? I think that might be a good idea.
That, yes, thank you.
Okay, and what's being done with the low-income housing problem that we have in our city?
That's a tough one, and I don't know exactly how to answer it on behalf of the city. The city doesn't really have the ability to affect low-income housing as it is. It would require a variety of different efforts, but the city really doesn't necessarily have a part to play in low housing. Would be very difficult for us to construct housing geared toward those of lower income. So it's a hard question to answer. I don't know what we can be involved in.
Okay, maybe that's something that we can talk about and maybe come up with some solutions, because I know there's a lot of people that are hurting right now with our economy and everything. The last thing that I wanted to talk about, you all hit on it, it was about the raises. And I understood back in June when you voted, it was for the police officers, and I definitely think they needed more. I just thought those were outrageous amounts of money. That I remember getting a 1 penny raise. I worked there for a year and they gave me a penny raise. These are quite substantial, and that's a lot of money. So that was my last question. I guess.
Well, I hear your concern. I thank you. I mean, obviously, it was a decision that was made many, many months back for a variety of reasons, and I think that's been explained different ways. So I hear your concern.
Okay. I just know that some people in the valley were talking, they were concerned that we were spending more money on things maybe that they didn't agree with in our city here. So anyway, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Larson, I'll go back to, I didn't see you there. Again, I apologize. Please, please.
To simply answer your question, discussions about this referendum and about this day started well over a year ago with the different municipalities involved, with Bear River, Lyman, Mountain View, the county commissioners. In the spirit of the tax itself, the 1% specific purpose excise tax is a county-wide tax that everyone contributes to. So in these early discussions, it was, since everyone's contributing, we decided and agreed upon early on that it was a all for one, one for all decision. So
thank you.
It was a mutual agreement.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Please.
Okay, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
I haven't done this since I was way less gray than I am now.
So just give us your name and address.
Renda Hoagland, 113 Broken Circle Drive.
Thank you.
Super happy about the sidewalks, I have to say. That's super cool. I'm just wondering what is happening with the animal shelter and the decommissioning of the gas chamber. I've been told that it has not been decommissioned, that we did not take it out, that we have not followed through with several organizations that are trying to get a hold of us about that. I'm also wondering what the plan is as far as all across the state of Wyoming. All the other shelters all across the state of Wyoming have upgraded their shelters, every one of them. They no longer place the cats and the dogs together in the same room. They all have raised their adoption numbers up substantially. They have all figured out a way to make their euthanasia rates go way down, to make them be able to not use the gas chamber anymore. I'm wondering how we're going to bring those numbers, those adoptable numbers up, so that we can actually decommission this chamber, because I don't see how we can decommission this chamber if we don't bring our adoption rates up. I'm just wondering how we're going to say that we're decommissioning this chamber and actually do it.
I hear you, and I'll ask our police chief here to help me with, as far as one question I'll ask, as far as the other communities across the community, across the state, I don't know
well,
that we can answer.
It's a known fact that we are way behind the times.
I don't disagree.
We are the absolute worst in the state of Wyoming.
I don't disagree. I'm just simply saying I have no understanding or control of any other.
It's embarrassing.
Chief Ranish, would you?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. There's some complexity removing the
the chamber. We quit using it right away. We contracted with Tom's HVAC to remove it, and they're able to get to it this morning. It was taken out. It's in the scrap pile. It is no longer in the building.
Thank you.
We quit using the chamber. We said we quit using it.
Thank you, thank you.
As far as our euthanization, adopting animals, speaking on behalf of the animal shelter, it's a difficult job to do, and it's a little offensive because we are very low in numbers. We've had animals for so long, they've literally become the mascot of the shelter. We euthanize very few animals for county size. We don't just deal with animals in our community, we deal with animals in the county. Okay. And we only euthanized, I believe, 30 dogs last year and 23 cats. And the reality is some animals are too sick and too old or too vicious to adopt.
No, that's understandable. I was told different numbers, so thank you for clarifying. I'm just wondering one other question, though. I would like to know one thing. Every other shelter in the state of Wyoming don't put their cats and dogs together in the same room. Are we addressing that issue? Because that is something...
It has been a conversation. It's going to require funding and possibly redesigning the shelter, but it is a conversation we are having. One of our officers got clawed. We went and put a cat away a few weeks ago when he got scared of the dogs. We understand it's a problem that way, but it's something I can't do overnight. We're doing everything we can.
Okay. No, I'm not. I'm just asking questions. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's good to know. I will let the organization know that thought we hadn't decommissioned because they know that Green River did, and we hadn't followed through with them. So I will let them know. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Jared Houghton, Medicine Butte, Truth 34. I'll start off by saying I don't take anything that's printed in the UNA County Herald at face value. They've definitely proven that there's some issues there, and it definitely hasn't changed with the new ownership based off other stories I've read so far. Hopefully I don't get sued. I've already been threatened to, but whatever. First of all, I would personally like to thank all the city and county employees for everything that they do. I definitely appreciate that my trash gets picked up every Thursday, and I can turn on my faucet and the water runs. Granted, sometimes I forget to put the cans out, and I've absolutely forgot to pay my bill a couple times, but I do appreciate that. I also do want to specifically call out Kim Larson. I appreciate everything that she's doing to help deal with the pool issue. I'm not going to lie. I'm in opposition of the ballot proposal for many, many reasons. It's absolutely not that I believe anybody in the city, the county, is doing anything nefarious in that process. I have other concerns that led me to vote against it. But I definitely appreciate the conversations that we've had in that process. I've definitely felt that the conversations were, everything was accurate and whatever the case may be. And that goes with everybody else too. I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of employees throughout the city. Most of you up there, I do appreciate those conversations, and I felt that every conversation that I've had was in good faith, whether we agreed or disagreed. I seriously, sincerely say that. And there have been times where I've come in hot and heavy, specifically with you, Councilwoman Hageman, where could have definitely addressed that a little bit better. I do want to bring up one other thing, or especially maybe the way I presented my opinion on calling it a penny tax versus a 1% tax. I probably could have thought about that before I spoke and presented a little bit better as well without being accusatory. So I do just want to bring up that ever since I've started paying more attention to politics, not only here at the city level, the school board, the county, state, I've always paid attention at the federal level. I've spent some time in the Army in leadership roles, and I'm currently in a leadership role with the organization I work with now. I believe that leadership is lead by example. And what I mean when I say that is when I have a problem, and with the organization I work with and some of the folks that I have to work with, not saying that they're bad either, that it creates significant challenges. Today, at work I wanted to walk through walls, because there are folks within my organization that want to do things their way, and I have my way of the way I want to do things, and I feel like sometimes I compromise more than they do. However, I still try to move forward the best that I can to make sure that the projects that I've put forth for the year make it to completion, and everybody things progress. I'm trying to find the best way to describe what I'm about to say without hopefully offending anybody. I guess it goes back to the conversation aspect, right? I have to have conversations with those folks. I've had conversations with most of you. I've had conversations with Kim Larson's. I've had conversations with Mr. O'Neill over there. I feel that despite the disagreements, there's sometimes we all believe that our way is the right way and the only way, and we don't want to let go of that, right? So I would ask that, because you guys are the leadership for the city, right? I would certainly ask that there's definitely more conversations, because it's clearly evident that at times that's not the case. And of course, we're going into an election year, and it's probably going to be real fun. But that's something that I would just like to put out there. Like, sometimes you have to let go of the personal stuff, because sometimes, to me, it feels like sometimes with some of the things that happen up there, that it's more personal than it is in the best interest of the city, if that makes sense. And like I said, I'm definitely not trying to offend anybody there. I have nothing but the utmost respect for all of you. And I sincerely mean that, even if I do come in a little hot and heavy sometimes. But I would ask that you all, just let that guard down a little bit, have a little bit of respect for each other, have those conversations. That way things don't blow up the way that they do in front of everybody, if that makes sense. If I can clarify, please let me know.
Point taken.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yep. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Ms. Crawford.
Good evening, council members. Cindy Crawford of Almy. I just want to say I feel the transparency of this body has been reasonably good when we have these discussions and we in the audience see bickering, and then there's dismissals into the back room 2 times in one evening that I recall. Even that is a show of transparency, meaning no one is going to agree to everything. We're all going to have, I don't know, problems with each other, problems in the community, budget conflicts. But I'm going to just say thank you for your work, even though that we have bickering and there's conflict on the panel. Even showing that is an act of transparency. And I just want to say keep up the good work. I don't agree with everything here tonight, but I did cast my vote, so good night. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Lynn, is there a second? Sellers, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.